And it's so good to see everyone checking out the chat. This is a brand spanking new presentation. I shared that on Instagram. So I am so excited to share it with you. And actually, let me make sure that it's going to share the right screen with you. Let me know while everybody is getting started. Do you have a monthly donor program? I would love to hear. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. There's the beautiful title presentation. Ooh, yes. Okay, not a formal program. Yes, we do. No, I really want to get started. Okay, beautiful. We have some monthly donors, but not a program really. Great. Wherever you are in your stage of monthly giving, this session is going to be relevant because I wanted to introduce you to a mastermind. Have you ever heard of a mastermind before? Let me know in the chat. Y is for yes, N for no's. Basically, it's a simple topic. It's a group of people, peers coming together to mentor each other. They solve problems together. We answer each other's questions. We get advice and inspiration from anyone else that's in the mastermind around a collective goal. And so today, I want to invite you to this mini mastermind that we're in together. This whole idea came up for me back in 2021. I was feeling alone in my business as a solopreneur. And I knew I needed to find peers that I could connect with. And so Julie Solomon is an entrepreneur in Nashville. She created a mastermind for female entrepreneurs that were looking to grow their businesses. And I was really trying to figure out the direction I wanted to go, even after being in business for, 5 years at that time. And so this is a picture in Nashville where we got together in a mastermind, and it changed everything. It changed everything about my business. 5 of us in this group still get together at least once a year. We celebrate. I had one of the girls came to my baby shower, and it became this really close-knit group where we share so transparently about what's working, what's not working, the challenges we're having. And so I decided, wow, like this is so cool. Why could I not create something like this specifically for nonprofits around monthly giving? So in 2022, I launched the Monthly Giving Mastermind, and I have helped 15 programs launch their monthly donor programs. And I saw Megan in here, and it has been so much fun. Essentially, 2 times a year, I pull together 3 to 5 organizations who want to either start or refresh a monthly giving program. And we build out these programs together. And so I want to invite you in today, like kind of a sneak peek to the mastermind in the framework that I teach. Now, on top of the mastermind that I've been doing for the past 2 years, I decided I was going to write a book. I decided I was going to write a book as I was going on maternity leave. And so obviously that didn't work out so well because it's still not published. It's going to come out later this summer, late in August. But to do so, I wanted to expand outside of just the knowledge base that I had through my research and building programs. And I interviewed 15 different incredible missions that you see here. Some of these organizations have also been speaking during the event, and they have 26 to 66,000 plus monthly donors. So it's a wide range. So the insights and the stories that I'm sharing today are coming from the organizations that I have helped build during the Monthly Giving Mastermind, and then also these 15 different organizations that I have had the pleasure of getting to know. And what I want to share with you is every size program matters. It doesn't matter if you are starting out at 0 and pre-launch. That is actually so exciting because there's so much momentum and growth. Or if you're super large and you're trying to figure out how to scale and how to retain. And in the first session, I really had to automate some of those processes. And in my interviews with the organizations for my book, I ask everyone this question. If we could go back in time, we would have blank. Any guesses in the chat to what people said? There was a common answer. If we could go back in time, specifically in regards to their monthly giving program, we would have blank. Yes, Grace, nailed it. Nailed it. Started sooner. Hands down, amen. And why is this? Because if we've been following just our own consumer habits of the subscription economy, this is not shouldn't be a big shock, right? But not only is the consumer focus on social good and increasing relationships, but having a subscription model that's authentic is skyrocketing. By next year, it's supposed to be a $1.5 trillion industry. And that's just the projection of where we see it going in regards to, oh my gosh, think about all the subscriptions that you have, that I have, right? If we can just make giving that easy, where I can say, yes, I am doing good every single day. That's what we want to make happen here. So today, AKA right now, I'm going to talk through the 5-step framework to build a successful monthly giving product. And yes, I say product for a reason, which I'll get into in just a moment. We're going to talk through how to self-audit your existing product program. Yes, Austin, I love it. Think of all your video entertainment subscriptions. Not even just video entertainment subscriptions, but if you have a coffee subscription, you have an alarm to your house, that's usually a subscription. Any platforms that you have that you use virtually is a subscription. Like, there's so many things. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about some unconventional growth and joy and gratitude retention strategies kind of throughout the presentation. And in the resources tab, and I will share these all when I get in the moment in chat, I have some resources for you as well. So before we dive in, if you're like, who the heck is Dana? It is so nice to meet you. And I love to teach you how to build social media ads, specifically to grow email lists that end up turning into monthly donors and building sustainable revenue models through monthly giving. Because what I love about monthly giving and why I was excited about getting into this space is it makes everyone feel like a philanthropist. When I give monthly, I know I'm saying I'm in for the long term. I might not have the ability to give an endowment or millions of dollars right now to an organization. One day, man, I hope I could be able to do that. But giving monthly allows me to feel like a philanthropist. So I am a speaker. I am the host of the podcast Missions to Movements. I would love for you to check out the show. If you are interested in marketing case studies, that is what I talk about every Wednesday. There's an episode released. An episode today was released, which Brian will share in the chat in just a little bit with an amazing founder, Gloria from the Hope Booth. And we talk about monthly giving in that. I'm the creator of the Monthly Giving Mastermind and like brand spanking new. You are the first group to hear about it and be able to register for the Monthly Giving Summit coming this September. It's an event solely on monthly giving. And I'm a wife, mama to baby Kennedy, and a dog mom. I have a really cute black and white Labradoodle named Malo. And I went to UCF. So go Knights. Shout out to any of my Florida universities in a house. Okay, so let's dive in. Step 1 in the framework is creating the product. Why product? So I believe that it's not just one thing to say we want to create a monthly giving program. Your monthly giving program, we need to think about putting our product hat on. What does a product have? A product has a name. A product has a landing page. A product has assets, social assets. A product is marketed, right? So all of these things, it helps us think about them if we think about a product. Yes, charge on, Joshua. I love it. So in this first section of creating the product, we want to understand the why. What's the reason that your product, this program, is to exist? So I share right here, our vision is a world where all people are free. This is from December. December is actually the organization that I gave to first as a monthly donor. I was living in Los Angeles, and December has rallied together 280,000 people since 2013 all around this seasonal style challenge. So every December, advocates from all around the world would wear a dress or a tie, and they would start a peer-to-peer campaign fundraising. Now, that was all well and good, right? They were fundraising to raise awareness and funds to support victims and survivors of human trafficking. But the primary focus of that campaign was really October through January. So when I interviewed Marissa Marks, she is their senior director of partnerships, she said the one thing we were missing was a way to engage year round. That's why we started the collective. They had this incredible, amazing, passionate community of people that were passionate about ending human trafficking. But before the collective, they were saying, okay, join us October to January, then we'll see you next October. So creating the collective was really a way to keep people engaged all year round. Next up is, what's the impact that it's intended to have? What does the program do? So I love the interview that I had with Daily Giving. It's a very innovative example. It's a Jewish organization that combines the gift of thousands of daily givers into one mass donation every single day to multiple organizations that they support. Now, I'm a very big fan of recurring first approach, and they ask donors to give monthly from the initial ask. The screenshot you see here of the dollar a day are what they give as options for donors. There is at like the very, very, very bottom, the opportunity for someone to give one time, but their whole idea at the inception of the organization was a fully recurring giving model. They wanted to create a $1 a day membership with the purpose of providing their customers, and they say customers, the experience of not going one day without giving back and doing good. And that's the impact that they wanted to create. And y'all, this idea caught fire. They have estimated now 15,000 monthly supporters. They're supporting over 78 nonprofits now. And quote, this is what he said: our primary benefit is giving people the privilege of giving to charity every single day. Then the second benefit is the impact of the $14 million that goes to various needs within the Jewish community because of that. Like, what a wild, crazy, amazing idea. Like, when I was interviewing him, my mind was just blown. Recurring first, 15,000 monthly supporters. Amazing. So does that structure, right, that's a question, align with the mission and the values of your organization? So their mission and their value was all about this compound impact that they're trying to create for numerous charities to be able to support, to give people the experience of giving back every single day. Next, this is who I have on my podcast. I was interviewed today, Gloria. She is phenomenal, based here in Atlanta, Georgia, and the creator of the Hope Booth. So she says here, and the reason for creating their monthly giving program was it's the purpose of the Hope Booth. And imagine, it's basically, the idea was taken from old telephone booths. Shout out to those of us that remember payphones. And thinking about the light that shined through a telephone booth, and they were seen everywhere. They were embedded in the culture of everywhere we went, right? Airports, streets, shopping malls. And in this case, she said, I want the Hope Booth. They refurbish telephone booths and turn them into a Hope Booth, which is people coming up to like this iPad experience and being able to go through this program that they've created around hope and mental health. And so she's saying the Hope Booth was built for community and by the community. Without them, this literally doesn't exist. And so she said, yes, I love that gift, Brian. She said, this is our movement, like be part of the movement collectively as a people. This is what's going to help make us successful. So they're very excited to grow their monthly giving program. And I'm very excited to be part of it. After listening to her story, I joined the movement immediately. And then lastly, in this section of creating the product, so you figured out your why, you understand the structure of maybe how you're going to set up your program. Is it going to be a recurring first, recurring only in your organization, or are you going to have the option? And the next is the naming process. So I think there's something strong about having a name. I know there's like a little bit of a dilemma that goes back and forth sometimes about, nope, we're just going to allow people to give monthly versus actually having a name for a product. To me, if I say to you, hey, would you join our monthly giving program at $15 a month? Versus if I say, hey, would you join the matriarchy, a community of mothers coming together to help provide childcare and oh my gosh, there's so many things the Chamber of Mothers does. Essentially like childcare efforts and reform in America. Which one sounds more community-led versus transactional when you can have a name that's centered around it? We crave belonging as individuals. And so giving a name gives us something to feel attached to and bigger than ourselves. So I joined the matriarchy just recently on International Women's Day, and it is the Chamber of Mothers monthly giving program. I loved the boldness of their name. And when I spoke to Jessica Campbell about the origin story, I had to share it with you. So she said, when it comes to naming, we created a Google Doc called No Bad Ideas. And they have this amazing group of co founders, really smart, thoughtful women. And she's like, I just sent it to them. I gave them a short description to brainstorm and a deadline, which she followed up to say, which I think is so important because we can often get stuck on a name. And they ended up with this list of about 45 names. She made everyone go through, and this it follows a very similar process to what I go through in my monthly giving mastermind. She made everyone go through the list and vote with emojis on the names that they liked. We landed on one originally that was the Mother Council. They tested it, and it wasn't really rolling off the tongue. They wanted it to be strong, powerful, on brand. And there was actually internal discussion, she mentioned, about the matriarchy being seen as too extreme. But then they said, but that's what we want. We want to repel the people that will be offended by that word. And we want to strongly attract the people that are like, hell yeah, let's go. So when you're thinking about a name, what are the words that come to mind that are going to call in your believers? And I highly suggest starting there for your brainstorming. And as I was thinking about the importance of a name, and if you're kind of like on the fence, you're like, I don't know, is that really important? Can't we just, again, say to give to our monthly donor program? I was driving, taking my daughter to daycare, and I noticed next to me was a Jeep. And along the Jeep, along the front, was a whole bunch of rubber duckies. Has anybody ever seen this before? All the rubber ducks, or is anybody a Jeep owner in here? Yes. Okay. So I found this out. There is a very proud community that participate in a unique tradition called ducking, or duck, duck, Jeep is what it's called. The tradition is when you're a Jeep owner. Yes, Caitlin, because I've always wondered about this. Okay. When you see another duck owner, you place a rubber duck on that person's Jeep as a sign of respect to the owner of the vehicle. So when you buy a Jeep, you are joining into this entire micro community of fellow Jeep owners. And I think this is amazing. So I am unfortunately not cool of this duck, duck Jeep gang. I am a RAV4 owner, but this is the point. If a car was just a car with no product name, there was no community built. There's no branding, and there's sure no cute rubber duckies going around. Okay. So that's the first step in the process. Number 2 is to make it easy, the website and the donation experience. So every product has a landing page, right? If you're going to go buy something, there's a page where it usually sometimes has its own checkout right there too. When you think about your program, does it have its own separate landing page where you can tell a genuine story? And again, calling in those believers to that page, because you want to avoid donor confusion. Sometimes I've heard people say somebody didn't know that they were giving monthly. If you are landing on a page that is explaining everything about the monthly giving program and your donation form is only for monthly giving, there's a much higher probability that there's not going to be as much confusion on this topic. And the format, as I've listed, is so important. Mobile friendly, having a big, audacious statement at the top about what you're going to be able to do together in this community. And then, of course, donation buttons and forms throughout the experience. So when you are clicking into the donation form, I highly recommend that it's monthly only, again, to avoid donor confusion. You can see here in this button, it specifically says donate monthly. Or if you do just have the option of one time and monthly, having monthly pre-selected. Again, make it easy, having multiple payment options, no long forms. When we think about every transaction that we do online, especially in the Amazon world of things, we want to make sure it's one, two click done, right? We want to make sure that it's as simple as possible. And then leading into the importance of technology and having a strong system for your monthly giving program. I love this quote from Daily Giving COO. He says, first and foremost, you have to have the technical capacity to allow for a user-friendly experience. For example, outside of just the donating aspect on the front end, they said we wanted to make sure we had a clear login process, because if you can't intuitively see how to pause or cancel your account, there might be a lack of trust. So not only on the front end of making the donation, but what happens when it comes to altering your subscription if you needed to, right? We've all experienced this. I am a lover of HelloFresh, and there's lots of times where we have paused it or canceled it. And one thing that's so frustrating is you can't do it through the mobile app. You have to go onto the desktop website. And so if you're experiencing that as a user, that's frustrating. So how can you make sure that all throughout the process, it's easy? Something else that he said in our interview was that for the people who pause or cancel, he's like, that's cool. He's like, I call them surfers. They're coming in. Maybe they're going to come back, but that's all right. For the time that we have them, we want them to have the best experience possible with us. And if they leave, that's okay. Maybe because they had a great experience, they're going to end up coming back. Number 3 of the framework is call in the believers. And this is so important when it comes to your copy, your marketing assets, and video. You want to make sure that you are showing a very clear value proposition. What are you going to be able to do as the supporter joining? So right away in this language, I took a screenshot. The IJM team in the UK I interviewed. And so they say, as a freedom partner, you're helping IJM work with authorities to bring children to safety and support survivors as they heal. You're also helping enable systemic change. Thanks to the supported partners, this is what we've been able to do, et cetera, et cetera. So they are explaining in their copy together what's going to happen. Also sharing what is the need right now. Just on the previous screen, I talked about from Front Porch Housing, we are going to house 20 families together to start. And that can always change. Then you're going to share the impact. What's the collective effort together? And something I share here is NLP. And this is neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, much simpler said. But it's essentially this framework that is talking about how we subconsciously are thinking through thoughts and language and feelings. And there's NLP language that can be sprinkled throughout our landing pages. And they usually have different phrases. This is very common on any sales pages. If you go to a product that you've purchased, you will probably notice a lot of these words. But they're in themes of positivity, urgency, and trust. So for example, it includes words like believe, thrive, progress, remarkable, change. Urgency could be a deadline, final, now, limited. It might also be buy now. And buy now as terms like buy now, you might be, and then later on it says buy now, right? So it's interesting like how our brain thinks through those things. And then establishing trust. Maybe there's a guarantee, proven, expert, certified. So if you look up, I highly recommend just Google searching NLP language. And there's a bunch of different words that it might give you that you can play with in not only your website, but also in emails. So step number 4, we have set up our framework, our product, right? We're calling in the believers. We're making it easy. Step number 4 is making the ask. How often are you asking for people to join your program? Or is it hidden away? We want to be bold with this ask. Marketing and PR. Here on the screen, you're going to see an ad. This is from the Tim Tebow Foundation, which I have an incredible quote for you in just a second. Sending emails about your program. Are you on podcasts? Doing SMS messaging? Are you talking to your corporate partners about your monthly giving program? Asking if you can set up lunch and learns? Are you talking to your local, regional, national press? There are so many amazing opportunities to make sure that your monthly giving program is front and center, but it takes a conscious effort. And this is one of the biggest ways for continuous growth. I just had an incredible woman, Danielle. She is the founder of L Communications, a PR firm, a social impact PR firm out in Los Angeles. And she says right now is a wonderful time for nonprofits to take center stage when it comes to press, because there's been such a focus on like doom and gloom and tough things in the environment. And she says a lot of the publicists that she works with are actually looking for solutions-based PR. Apparently, this is a term that I did not know existed. You all have solutions to some of the world's biggest problems that people are looking to solve. You are experts in this craft. When you pitch yourself to say, I have a solution, I have an answer to said thing, I have a beautiful story on this solution, or somebody's life that has been changed, the call to action always have it be recurring first, pushing to your monthly giving program. One example, Kibo Drew is the founder of Queer Women of Color Media Arts Project. And she blew my mind with one of the ways that they do their asks for their monthly giving program. They have an angel brunch. It's an event. It is completely ran by 6 donors of a part of their monthly giving program. It's an annual event. And she says this, we just show up for it. The donors do it. They invite folks. We invite people on our donors list as well. It is literally a donor thing that they organize. Their donors host the event. They invite people. They work with the venue. I mean, incredible. And this event is all centered on getting these existing recurring donors are inviting people to join the recurring donor program. You can't get better social proof than that. It's not the organization putting on the event, it's the donors. And I was just like mind blown. This is brilliant. They have cultivated, and this is the power of a monthly giving group. And I asked her, how did this happen? And she's like, one person just got asked. Right? Like mic drop moment. One person was asked, they said, yep, I'm going to get together 6 super fans. And then year after year, like it just grows. People have a great time in the event and they want to be a part of it. And it continues. I mean, brilliant. Taking the time, taking the work off of the organization, and the donors put it on. Another amazing growth strategy. So Kyle works at the Tim Tebow Foundation. He's incredible. He's actually speaking during this event. He said it was last summer. He personally took over their Facebook ads. And again, they started, I want to say, with just a couple $100. This is the major point of our growth. Since last June, they spent almost $1 million on Facebook ads and have returned $3.7 million. They've grown their monthly community from 6,500 people to now it will be at 18,000 by the end of the week. Update to this. Just in March, 3,000 new monthly donors in 1 month from Facebook ads. 4.5 return on their investment. Incredible. Yes, exactly. That is crazy. They had never tested ads until last summer when it comes to running this program, and blew up. Yes. Wow. Exactly. Again, started with a couple $100, right? And saw it worked and then blossomed. You nailed it. Exactly. Okay. So step 4 is asking. And I literally can't drive that home enough that it should be everywhere in everything that you do. Number 5, constant joy and gratitude. This is your retention plan. So having a very strategic, thoughtful process that is going to inspire joy every time that monthly transaction hits their account. This is actually something that Kyle said to me during our conversation was, when someone sees the bank transaction come through for their monthly gift, we want to spark joy. How do we align a message of communication so that, yes, automation is absolutely key for this, that they are going to feel a spark of joy, and we are providing constant gratitude. This, I interviewed an organization in Canada. Their monthly giving program is Hunger Heroes. And in Canva, she designed, which I thought was so nice, this breakdown of what they're doing at these different monthly timeframes, different surprise and delight moments. What is going to happen at month 1? What's going to happen at month 12, right? And there's a recent recurring giving report that says the average monthly donor, just guess, how long do you think the average monthly donor sticks around? Thoughts? Okay, Megan, I think Megan cheated. It's like 7 to 8 years. 7 to 8 years. So thinking through your 12-month plan is great, but we also want to think about what happens on year 5. Like, those people are amazing. What are we going to do for them, right? And then how do you authentically align maybe this with your organization? So naturally, I love giving ideas, and I'm a teacher at heart with this. So when I was on the phone call with Jess at Chamber of Mothers, and we were talking through, they're still in the process of working out their retention plan because they're pretty new. And I said, well, you're talking to a group of moms. What if you did something cool at the 9 to 10 month mark, like when a baby is born? And she's like, oh my God, that would be so fun. So it's how can you think about some creative ways to do a surprise and delight moment that might align with the theme of your organization? If you have something like that, that's possible. The other thing to think about is, do you notice a drop or something happening at a certain time frame? You want to make sure that you have something sent out to people around that time frame, so hopefully that they won't leave your program. This is a responsive experience. Again, automate where you can. Letter labs, handwritten are great examples of snail mail that you can send out. What emails can you set up natively? Are you going to partner with a brand to send something in the snail mail, like a little gift or some swag? There's so many different ideas that you can come up with when it comes to constant joy and gratitude. If you want somewhere to start with ideas, you can scan this QR code, and I have outlined in a Google Doc, it's very simple, a 12-month plan. It has ideas, and it has a little box for you to brainstorm. So if you go through and scan this QR code, it's going to ask, like, how am I doing in the presentation so far? And then it's going to give you access to be able to find or get this plan of 12 months of joy and gratitude. The link is also in the resources on the little like side chat area that you can check out. But I wanted to share that with you. Next up. So this is the 5-step framework. Each piece of the framework is so incredibly important. And please do not skip when it comes to the retention. So often we're very focused on growth, but there is unbelievable power and purpose in the joy and the gratitude. So now we're going to go through and we're going to do a self-audit. I'm going to go ahead and again put the link. Let me see if I can. Yep. Okay. This is the link to the plan. You just put in the code monthly if you access it via there versus the QR code. So now we're going to go into our self-audit mode. So for you, does the current structure of your monthly giving program product align with the intent of your mission? It's a big question. The structure of your program align with the intent of your mission. Number 2, do you have a product name? Does it work? Does it fit? One of the things that I always share with my mastermind is to say it out loud. I'm a member of blank. Will you join the blank? Come visit us at the blank. There's earlier in the presentation, actually, you know what? I think I can go back to it real quick. These are a bunch of the different names: the roots, the bench, the essentials, the promise, the party. They are all chosen with a specific reason that is calling into what their organization, what their mission is. And then when it comes to the buttons on the forms, they all flow. So I love Molotov's is number 7, the table. Take a seat. Will you take a seat at the table? Builders Guild. The button says, let's build. Right? So there's way more creative ways instead of having a very transactional button that just says donate, that because of these names, they can all feel more branded together like a product. RISE is the Clio Institute, which is around climate change. Will you rise with us? Okay. And they've decided RISE, it's all caps because RISE, we're standing. Like everything has a meaning and a flow. And I geek out on all this stuff. Okay. So self-audit continuing through. Do you have a product name? 3, do you have a product landing page with all of the important information above the fold? This is important. Using a tool like Microsoft Clarity, which is free on your site, it shows you a heat map and how people scroll on your page. 80 to 90% of people are not going to scroll past that header. They're just not. So do you have that big, bold, audacious headline? Are you calling in your believers? Do you have the ability to donate all without going below the fold? Does your copy call in the believers? Are you mentioning like we, you, together, this community, right? That's the powerful language that we want to be able to look at. Is it easy and is it clear on how to give? Again, one of the most common things is donor confusion when it comes to monthly. We want there to be absolutely no confusion that they are joining a monthly giving program? And lastly, do you have a strategy on making the ask plus providing constant joy and gratitude? Something unique that I wanted to share when it comes to providing constant joy and gratitude, that Kibo shared with me, was that birthday emails. People loved, their monthly donors love getting a birthday email from them. A suggestion: if your donation tool doesn't have the ability to have a custom question embedded into it, like asking for a birthday, monthly donors are way more willing to give you additional information, again, because they're in for the long haul. On your directed custom thank you page for your monthly giving program, so I made my gift, I'm redirected to a thank you page, have an extra form. Have a video that says, "We are so excited for you to join this program. We want to get to know you a little bit more. What's your birthday? Why'd you join the program?" Whatever, whatever, whatever. This is a great pieces of little extra information. What's your t-shirt size? Whatever you want to ask in that form, but it's after the donation happens. So just a little thought there. So what I want to do now is I want to invite you to join the monthly giving mastermind. This is what it's all about. The chat has been going off. It's about a community coming together. And I am unbelievably stoked to share with you that the Monthly Giving Summit is coming September 5th and 6th. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Registration. You're literally the first ones to be able to register for this. 2 half days. We are going to do nothing but talk about monthly giving, big picture conversations, what's happening in the subscription space, and then one-on-one networking and breakout rooms for you to be a part of. Then also, so as a part of that event, I would love for you to join the Monthly Giving Summit, building, growing, sustaining, but we're doing it together because right in this room, there's so much experience within one another that we can learn from each other to build and grow our programs. And then if you want to get started right now, I created the Sustainers. It is a Slack community for nonprofits, specifically with monthly giving programs. I love my Slack channel with nonprofit consultants. We ask each other business questions. I'm sharing, do you think this title is good for my book? It's a place where if you just have a question and you want immediate answers and you just feel will somebody read this email that I'm about to send out? Does this social post look good? Whatever it is, this is a brilliant place for you to be able to go to get answers from your fellow nonprofit peers. So I invite you to join the Slack channel group. First month is free, and then it's just $5 a month. It's also included in the VIP ticket for the Monthly Giving Summit. And with that, we have just a few minutes left. I would love to open it up for questions. And I am just so excited to learn all about you and your monthly giving program and connect with you further. Yes, the event is free. The event is free. Yes, it is virtual. So I hope this is all super helpful. I'm going to go into some questions that we have here. Brian, is there a difference between a membership and monthly giving? Oh, good question. So I consider a monthly giving program kind of like a membership. I think it depends upon, again, it goes back to the structure of what makes sense for your organization, and how you want to create that product. If you want to market it as a membership, you can. What's included in that membership? What are the benefits of joining that membership? Versus if you want to align it more with a monthly giving program. If you are choosing, question 2, a membership model, does that still go with your product mindset? 1000%. A membership should have a name. I agree. I definitely think, yes. Any additional program service offering, I consider it to be like a product. 1000%. Good questions. Let me see. I'm going back to the chat. Hunter, we do a few weeks of value add with a new welcome donor series before we do a monthly giving ask. Yes, having email series are very powerful and again can help with the automation to be able to Set that up for one-time donors to become monthly, and then also you wanna have it on the back end of when somebody does become a monthly donor. Do you have to have a complete product or can it be a campaign centered on growth operating costs? So if you're asking someone to I think you're asking, does it have to be are you thinking about one time versus having like a longer term monthly giving program? If so, I mean, I think it would behoove you to make it like a long-term program, again, just because of the amazing retention rate that a monthly donor program has. What you can do regarding the impact of what you say that you're going to collectively do together, that can always change. The biggest thing that monthly donors want is communication and to understand where their funds are going. So if you're going to say, hey, in quarter one of this year, we're really focusing on the collective, just to use Dress Umbra's example, is focused on doing this together. And then you're able to share updates on what this is. If it's something that's just overall operating costs, even tell them when a new staff member is hired. That's amazing. Somebody who's saying, yes, I am in to support your mission understands that it takes a team to do the work, right? Or else how's it going to happen? Amen. So you want to make sure that you're just transparent and you're sharing where the funds are going. Oh my gosh, so many amazing questions. I'm trying to go back through at the top. Ooh, Amy, what makes a monthly giving program a program and not just a group of monthly donors? Ooh, so good. Creating the community and providing different and there's so many creative ways that you can do this. I think the Angel Brunch is a great example of this, where they're bringing a community physically together. Kibo also shared that they get together, they'll invite this specific group to plays together and they'll do outings together. Maybe it's something special that you're doing virtually if you have like a larger organization that's not as a local. But it's humanizing it is like the best way. I hope that kind of answers that question, but it's creating the ways in which you can make them feel like they're a part of the community. Let me see what else. Oh my gosh, there's so many. After a new donor makes a first gift, what is the ideal time to turn around and ask them to join your monthly giving program? Well, right away, honestly, because in that moment, they just had that like feeling oomph of like dopamine hit. I just gave, I'm doing something good. I would even have it on the thank you page after somebody gives the first one-time gift. And something that I've seen, and I just mentioned this actually in the Sustainer Slack group yesterday, was St. Jude's website. If you go right at the top, it says 5 reasons to be a monthly donor above the header. Like they are calling in people to be recurring first. I don't know. I think there's just so many benefits on obviously the organization side for sustainable revenue, but then also the impact that somebody feels when they're giving more than once. And I know they're really being able to help. So ideal turnaround time, I would say immediately. And then if it's not immediately, I would continue to make a conscious effort of asking. You're very welcome. Yeah, I know you might be like, that's not what I thought you were going to say. Right away. Hello. I know I am right on time. Let me see. Do I have time for one more question?
Go for it.
Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can find. Ooh, Brian said earlier to write love on her arms does this extremely well. We do anniversary of our first gift cards for our donors. Yes. I just ooh, Richard, is there a way to tailor a monthly giving program to create a corporate giving program? So, yes, I think this inviting corporate partners and their employees to join your monthly giving program, and if that becomes part of their giving through their company and they can match it, is amazing. This is a great way to also reach out to your corporate partners outside of maybe the 1 to 2 touches you have with them during the year and do those lunch and learns. And my biggest suggestion, Richard, actually, is to just have a conversation with the partner and start a brainstorm conversation. What's your big focus? What are your employees passionate about? How can we do something together? This is what we're working on. Those conversations is how the magic happens because you're exploring an opportunity together and you're saying, I have this product. This is going to provide like what at the very beginning when I was talking about what people are wanting right now is that social impact giving, the subscription economy. Like we are providing this like beautiful opportunity of doing good continuously for somebody. So, oh my gosh, fabulous conversation. Thank you all so much for having me. I hope to see you in the Slack community and at the summit. Virtuous team, you guys rock.